It's the Score North Twin Show.
I feel like we're going to have Judd have a flag nearby if the Twins keep winning series. Maybe not quite yet. Maybe
I was going to say, I think it's premature.
It's a little early.
It's premature for the flag.
Okay.
You know what? If they win the series against the Phillies this month, this month, that might be a flag. Worthy thing.
I mean,
the Phillies are really good.
Seattle's a first-place team.
Yeah, no question about it.
Good pitching staff, historically good pitching staff.
Yeah, they are lifeless at the plate, but they are, yes, a good pitching staff.
So it's a State of the Twins Monday here, and as a bonus, a few days ago, the Twins were on the grid. So whenever we see the Twins on the grid, we save it so we can do it on the podcast here. But before we get to our State of the Twins categories and our questions, the Twins are home over the holiday weekend. Got some big series coming up. And it's a great place for you to hang out with your family, your friends at the ballpark. Maybe you're staying in town. Tickets are available at twins.com/tickets. Twins.com/tickets. 612 Saturdays where it's $6 beers, $1 snacks, $2 food. Kids Day and Sunday Fun Day every Sunday at the ballpark. So it's just a great, fun place to hang out. Your soda summers start now with your Minnesota Twins. So let's get to the framework here, boys. The Twins now have a 47-37 record, second place in the American League Central, 6 games out, 8th in runs scored per game, 15th in runs allowed per game. They have a 78% chance to make the playoffs according to Baseball Reference, and a 5% chance to win the whole bleeping thing. Let's start with our resident Twins beat podcaster. He's on the ground in the clubhouse on a regular basis. Declan, Twins vibes are blank right now.
The Twins vibes are hot. The Twins vibes are very hot right now. First off, 10 games over 500. That's the first time all season they've reached that plateau. They have tiptoed around 8 or 9. They've flirted around a couple games over, but now they're 10 games over 500 for the first time all year. You read some of their snapshot overall view of their offense, but in the month of June, went back and looked this up. In terms of all teams in Major League Baseball, the Twins' offense, total bases, they were second. Batting average, third. On-base percentage, third. Slugging percentage, third. OPS, you guessed it, third. Runs scored, fourth. Home runs, fifth. The most important one, strikeout rate. Fourth fewest amount of strikeouts in the month of June in Major League Baseball. This is a complete offense. This is finally coming through here, right? Everyone's waiting for David Popkins, always on the hot seat, always on pins and needles, wanting to blame him for everything. But right now, the Twins offense as a whole, all those great statistics right there, and when you combine it with the strikeout rate, the Twins offense and the vibes are hot.
Yeah. We'll come back to some of the offensive stuff in future categories here. But Judd, Twins vibes are blank for you right now.
I don't know if you can see this, but Twins vibes are series-is. Series-is, which is a combination of serious and series, because the Twins continue to win series, which is the most important thing in baseball. You're going to lose games. Everyone's going to lose games. So you're not going to go on, 14-game streaks ordinarily where you win every single game, right? But what do we talk about in baseball? Win series. The Twins have won 5 of their past 6. They started June, don't forget, 1-6. So things were not going well. After that, 14-6. So 15-12 for the month, which might not look great, but 14-6 is, as Dex just talked about, 6-3 on this trip. But they are taking care of business when it comes to series. And I think as we talk about June and July and August baseball, that's the most important thing. And so the Twins vibes are series-is.
I'm going to kind of do the same thing Judd did. I'm just going to make up a word. Yeah. Twins vibes are contendery.
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 I like that one too.
So right now in the American League circuit, only 3 teams have a better record in terms of win percentage than the Twins. The Guardians are atop still, 52-30, 634 win percentage. And then the Orioles at a 631 win percentage. They're tied in the standings with the Yankees in terms of like games behind. The Yankees are third in win percentage at 628. And then by beating the Mariners 2 out of 3, the Twins passed the Mariners. So they're sitting here with the fourth best record in the American League. Offense is much better, as Declan put it in the last month. So they're certainly not the best team in the AL. They have work to do and maybe a trade or two. But you don't necessarily have to be the best team to win a series in October. You know, baseball's weird. You can get, as long as you've got a couple pitchers at the top and a lineup that's pretty complete and a lineup that doesn't give away outs via strikeout like they did last year. That's a huge thing. Put the ball in play and see what happens. Get Austin Martin on the base paths. You know, get Byron Buxton out there. So it's feeling a little more contendery here.
I like that.
And they're playing at like a 92 win pace, creeping up. It was like an 86 win pace a month ago. So Twins vibes are contendery. Declan, next category. What is your favorite current Twins thing?
Favorite current Twins thing is Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan's my favorite current Twins thing right now. So we've seen, I think, enough of a sample here. He's been obviously the Twins' most consistent pitcher. He has been their ace. I think if a playoff series started today, Joe Ryan starts game 1. I don't think it's Pablo Lopez, obviously. He's gone through some struggles. Now, I do like what he did again over the weekend. We can probably touch on that later on. But Joe Ryan would start game 1 of a playoff series right now if a playoff started today. I don't think that's a question. He continues to be really good. He's added the velocity. He's added the juice. He's added some of the split finger has been a good pitch for him. His fastball yesterday was continuing to get a ton of swings and misses. And he will still give up some home runs, but the home run rate is in a much better spot than it was a year ago. He's your best pitcher right now. So my favorite thing is, even though Pablo Lopez has a bit of a roller coaster year, same thing you can say about Bailey Ober to a degree, but I think Joe Ryan is your bona fide ace, and he is my favorite thing about the Twins right now.
So I'm going to cut in line so we can do the Pablo discussion here too.
Yep.
I would probably still start Pablo in game 1, but this is a great and awesome problem to have if you're the Twins. So once again, and do you have the data on like his pitch usage?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
What was his sweeper usage? Because that was the key to the previous start, right? He was like, he cut way back on the sweepers.
Yeah, so yesterday, or on Saturday, and Saturday was the 29th. Thank you. Sorry. He did throw the sweeper a lot more on Saturday. And now I will say, you know, because 2 starts ago, it was the fastball changeup mix, right? He threw a ton of fastballs, ton of changeups, but he dialed up the sweeper again, and the sweeper was probably on its best trajectory and best path all season. He had 8 swings and misses on it. He threw it 26 times. So if the sweeper can still be a good pitch for him, I'm not opposed to him ditching that sweeper, but can he keep hitters and teams off toes now, knowing that, hey, am I going to throw you the fastball changeup mix that obviously struck out a lot of Oakland A's players when I know they're not a good offense? But if I can still throw this sweeper, not rely on it, not default to it, because I don't want him to see him do that.
Seasoning. It's sweeper seasoning.
Yeah. But if the game plan is, well, if they're sitting fastball changeup, I'll still mix in that sweeper. So, yes, the sweeper usage was back up on Saturday, but I think if he keeps continuing to keep hitters on their toes with what kind of mix they want to throw at him, it's something I kind of actually want to talk to Pablo about this week in the clubhouse. It was better and in a better spot on Saturday for the first time all season.
So, I mean, however you want to throw Joe Ryan and Pablo Lopez in a playoff series, I mean, if you get this version of Pablo, who, by the way, his ERA is still, even after 2 really good starts, his ERA is still a full run higher than his FIP or his expected ERA, which is a good sign. It means that there's been either some noise or maybe some bad luck or some bad batted ball stuff in there, or just like some easily correctable things, to steal a phrase from Christian Ponder, that he really is probably going to keep shaving that ERA down in the second half of the season. But I think his adjustments are my favorite. Mm-hmm. It's 2 things. His adjustments, and then just like the top 2 pitchers in this rotation right now. You don't have to worry about a 5th starter in the playoffs. So if you can get in, and all of a sudden now it's these 2 dudes, and then Bailey Ober or just whoever's the hottest as your 3rd starter, maybe you make a trade for somebody. So I think my favorite thing is the way the top of this rotation is shaping up. Overall, there's still a bunch of question marks. Chris Paddock, What's his status going to be? Do they have a reliable fourth and fifth guy down the stretch? But you don't need 4 or 5 starters in the postseason. You need 3 really good ones, and then figure it out on the 4th day that you have to. Judley?
Mine is the emergence of the Twins' own version of Josh Metellus, Willie Castro. So he set a very interesting record, or tied one, on Saturday. He played second base. He became the 3rd player in the history of the game with at least 20 appearances at 5 different positions in the same year, and he did it before July 1st. He has played third base 21 times, mostly or a lot when Royce was out. He has played shortstop now 20 times when Correa was out. He has played center field 20 times. He's played second base now 20 times, and he's played 22 games in left field, and he's also pitched twice. He is currently batting through 84 games. He's slashing 276, 357, 452 for an OPS of 810, 7 home runs, 27 runs driven in. He has been a far bigger contributor than I expected. Correa said, what was that, Dex, about a month ago, 3 weeks ago, that in his opinion, Castro was the team MVP. And I heard that at the time, and I thought, okay, that's stretching it. But he really has done a ton of things, and he's been very proficient, and his production at the plate makes it easy to keep him out there. The fact that he can be a guy that can play so many different places is just a huge plus. So Castro gets talked about, it feels like, more now, but he is my current favorite thing in the fact that he does have the versatility to play that Josh Metellus role that the Vikings have, where a guy can roam all over the field and fit in at a lot of different slots.
Okay, here's a side question, maybe for Declan. So Willie Castro is a free agent after next year. If he were to hit, let's say he were to hit free agency this winter instead, let's just say he was set to become a free agent, would he get like $15 million, like $10, $15 million a year as a super utility? I'd have to go look at the going rate for utility players, but like teams are looking for guys that can play a bunch of positions, that can get on base. Yeah. He's on pace to be like a 5 wins above replacement guy, which is a massive number. It would be, without looking here, probably one of the 20 to 25 most valuable position players in baseball based on wins above replacement.
Yeah. I think he could get 10 to 15 million. Absolutely. I wonder, and I do wonder extension wise, like if that would be a conversation that they have this winter instead of waiting until free agency.
And he just turned 27.
He's young.
Like he's
a young
still
guy.
In the middle of his prime.
Mm-hmm. And the versatility is huge. They love him, by the way, at shortstop. Like they really actually, even though obviously that's Carlos Correa's position, that's why even when we was like, when we talked to Plouffe and said Royce Lewis wouldn't be the backup option, no, Willie Castro is their number 2 option at shortstop. They actually really like him at short.
Interesting. We should also, before we leave this category for the least favorite Twins thing, we should shout out Byron Buxton's hot streak that we talked about last week. It's gotten even hotter.
Yep.
So since June 5th, so basically the last 3.5 weeks of the month of June, he's played in 19 games, started 18 of them. The Twins are 13-6 in these games in which he's been red hot. He's batting .343 with a .382 on base percentage and slugging almost .660 OPS, well over 1,000, with 5 homers, 18 ribs in the 19 games, 15 runs scored, 5 doubles, a triple. So we're seeing vintage offensive Byron Buxton for the first time in 2 years, which, my God, I mean, this is a weapon that we weren't really sure because it's, again, his health is always in question. Is he going to be available tomorrow? But he's played more games in center field than he has in like 3 or 4 years. And this is not just like a hot streak this is how he was for years, for like 3 or 4 years when he was healthy. Maybe not 340 average, but this power hitter and this guy that can just turn his hips and launch a ball 450 feet. If they're getting a version of Byron Buxton similar to this the rest of the season, it does change what you think of this baseball team.
I saw some quotes too, and to what Plouffe talked about last week, Buxton talked about simplifying things. Like I really do think at the plate, part of his thing is he gets so emotionally and mentally tied up, right? And I think when he just essentially goes up there and hits, he can be great. That's where baseball's weird, because I think approaches are great, and getting advanced metrics to some guys works really well, and they think about things and it actually helps them. I think Buxton's a see ball, hit ball type of guy, and when he just mentally lets go, he becomes far more locked in and dangerous. And he looks like right now he is locked in. It's fun. It is fun. This is why, as a fan, I hate when Buxton's hurt or not going well, because he's such a fun player to watch when he is. He is, among, I think, the most fun players to watch. So if he's just back to like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to go up to the plate with a simple approach. That is fantastic.
He had some quotes over the weekend from MLB.com that he basically said after there was a game in Oakland, he said, "I'm about to get hot right now." And he told, I think, Aaron Rhodes, the strength coach, that was what the quote was in MLB.com. And even Rhodes looked at him like, "Are you sure about that? Like, you're not hitting the ball?
You're sure about that?
You sure about that, Byron?"
Wow.
And since then, Buck has been red hot. I think Rocco used the word tight with the swing. The swing's been really tight lately and stuff too. So yeah, I don't know. I've been haunted by this too many times. I'm not sure that this is sustainable. I think it is a hot streak, and I think there's probably gonna be a dip for a couple weeks stretch, and that's just who he is. But man, if Byron Buxton is this, then it does completely change the trajectory of how we look at the Twins offense, because we know what he does in center. But if he is like this consistently at the plate, my God, look out.
He's locked in, though, but before to streaks like this for extended periods. Like, I agree. Like, this is not now him, and it's going to be just great. But he's locked in at times for, like, more than 2 weeks. He's locked in for a few months. So, like, do I think that this is sustainable long term? Probably not. Do I think it's sustainable through the summer? I think at least potentially.
Yeah. He's on pace. Let's see here. So he has now played 51 games in center field, which is tied for his most. Well, I guess he had 59 in center field in 2021. But you got to go back then. It was 78 in 2019. So basically in a week and a half from right now, if he continues to play through the next homestand, he will have hit the most games in center field since 2019. And by like early August, it'll be the most games he's played in center field since 2017. I don't want to jinx anything, but
I was going to say, I'm actually more concerned right now that the knee is going to either flare up or he gets hurt than that he's going to like cool off. That's what scares me. Because
it's always lingering there,
Yeah, it's exactly. You can't get rid of it. Like, that's what scares me. It's
if he needs to do like another IL stint at some point, though, just to get off his feet
pre-playoff,
as long as you,
if you're gonna be a wild card.
Yeah, as long as you get him back for like the last 3 weeks in September and October, and he can be a factor and not just try to Kirk Gibson his way up, for a hero moment against the Astros. So okay, least favorite thing, Declan.
Least favorite thing is Royce Lewis is a human being. That's my least favorite thing. He's a human being at the plate.
I thought you said Royce Lewis as a human being. I'm like,
no,
you've turned on him. He's a fan of the show.
Royce as a human being is incredible. Royce at the plate, he is not maybe not the cyborg sometimes we think he is. He is definitely going through some struggles right now at the plate. Now it hasn't. We've looked at the Twins' offense. The offense has picked up. Other players have picked things up a little bit, but Royce is fighting it. I know he had the infamous quote, "I don't do slumps." I think we are in just a little bit of a funk. Maybe let's not call it a slump. Let's call it a funk. How about that? I don't know.
It's
I don't know
a period
how
of statistical adjustment, as the Winfields would say.
He also got sick in Oakland. He's been sick.
I've been battling a sickness for the last week.
So perhaps if you are struggling as well, both of you guys are battling sickness.
I should ask him about the funk. You don't do slumps. Do you do the funk? Do you believe in funks? And maybe that's what Royce Lewis is basically in right now.
Yeah. So you're telling me he's not going to have a 2,000 OPS for the rest of his career? That's what's tough, dude. When you set the bar the way that he has, he comes out of the gate and he hits like 25 home runs in his first 85 or 90 games. like, well, that's never happened, and no one's going to keep doing that forever. So he's going to get 2-3 weeks. And by the way, the league has barely had a chance because he's been such a stop-start player.
Yeah.
At some point, if he's in the lineup for the long haul, like the league is going to have some adjustments to throw back at him. So that whole cat and mouse game has not had a chance to play out the way that it normally does. But even with the period of statistical adjustment, he still has a 1,007 OPS on the season and a 667 slugging percentage. So
how dare you be human?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Is Royce Lewis a bust? Next on the
Score Twin Show.
Judd, what is your least favorite current Twins thing?
I think this has been broached before, but I'll just go back to it because I think it's a problem. Christian Vasquez. He just doesn't bring anything really. He is currently slashing 181, 207, 252. So his OPS is 459. Ugh. He's hit 2 home runs. He's driven in 11 runs in 48 games. More importantly, okay, so your defense basically has to be flawless then, right? Like if you're a catcher and you do nothing at the plate, he failed to handle a throw in a 1-run loss on Friday that deflected off his glove. And I know it's a tough play, but like this whole thing it was perfect. It was Max Kepler to, I believe, Castro. They had the guy by a lot. It was not a bang play. Christian Vasquez, I guess my question is this: what do you do here exactly? What do you bring consistently? I just don't think it would be that. I don't think it's asking a ton to at least consider upgrading that spot if you're going to be a playoff team. How about that?
The issue is he's making a lot of dough. It's not like you can just wave goodbye. Well, and considering where the Twins are at salary-wise, they're not just going to wave goodbye to him. And they have a very strategic plan with their catcher rotation. They refuse to go guys back-to-back, at least right now. Now, if the playoffs, again, we just talked about the Game 1 starter.
And they did that last year. Yeah.
And they will obviously do that, I think, again, once the playoffs start this year. But right now, they will not buck on their catcher not playing consecutive days. They will go
which is
back
why
and
I want to
forth
get
it.
rid of this guy to bring in a catcher that might do something more. Like that, their philosophy is why I'm trying to help them right now. Because this guy does nothing for you.
Yeah,
like, what does he do? And yes, the money, though, is a sunk cost. And it's not a cap league, so it's not like you're up against. Excuse me, I got so excited there. I hit my microphone. It's not like you're up
That's
against
the hardest
the cap.
contact between you and Christian Vasquez. That's the hardest contact of the year.
Exactly right. I got the guy at the plate right there with that microphone. So anyway, I would like to see them, if they're going to maintain the philosophy Declan just explained, to at least do something to potentially upgrade behind or with Jeffers.
Yeah, it's too bad Jeffers went into. Do you guys think twice a little bit about Jeffers? You know, he went into like a really bad. It looked like he had it figured out among the best hitters in baseball for like a 12-month stretch there, and then reality kind of crashed down for 6 weeks.
I mean, he started the year, like the first 2 weeks of the season were tough for him too. And then that's when the hot streak started and he didn't really buckle too much. I mean, I remember talking to him once post-game this year where it was a frustrating game for, I think, the Twins and Jeffers individually, and he went into a whole rut about, like, this is, throwing a couple expletives out, but like, I feel really good about what I'm doing, and I'm just not putting the ball where it should be. I'm hitting loud outs. I'm doing the right approach. I wonder if this is just a funk or if there has to be like more adjustments for him. He's definitely more in tuned with his swing a lot. So I wonder if there are some other adjustments he might start making here.
Yeah. Okay, my least favorite thing are all these cheaters in the American League Central. So Declan already went viral for the Jetstream thing in Cleveland, right? They're just, we're just going to give our ballpark a facelift and hit a bunch of home runs, right? What's going on in Kansas City might be even worse. We don't know what the exact method of cheating is.
I saw this last night.
But it's pretty rare in baseball. Like, there's some home field advantages, obviously. And if you play in the Metrodome for all those years, there's major home field advantages because you get to watch pop-ups against the white Teflon. Other teams don't. You understand sort of like where to hit ground balls. But ordinarily, if you're playing outdoors, there's not much of a discrepancy. Or if you're playing at Coors Field, I mean, there's some examples. So the Royals, let's start with their record. The Royals are 30-16 at home, but 6 games below 500 on the road. And that raises some red flags. But then some analytics people on Twitter went deeper. This is from Casper Stats. The Royals are number 1 in differential home versus road in OPS, weighted on base average, batting average, strikeout percentage, whiff percentage, and exit velocity. The difference between home and away in all those categories. A completely different team inside Kauffman Stadium compared to any other ballpark. Is this just a weird 3-month small sample? Or are the Royals doing something at home that they shouldn't be doing to get an advantage in those categories?
How would you jam the pitch com, right?
Well, that's one theory. Are they hacking the pitch com at home?
Can you?
I'm sure some team has tried to figure that out, right?
Well, is our the thing I got pushed back from the Guardians fans, well, the other team has to bat there in the top half of the inning. It's like, well, yeah, you're playing there in 81 games, though, guys. That's not the same thing. I know everyone is coming to you, but you individually get to play in the ballpark for 81 times. And with Kansas City, like, there's just been weird, like, Seth Lugo is putting together like a Cy Young season after barely being a guy for the last 5 years. That's been pretty strange.
Are there theories though? Like, I'd like to hear how you.
There's no like hard concrete evidence, but there is some thought that is there a way that they have now found out? Because remember when the Astros were doing the trash can banging, they had a camera focused on the catcher's signs, and the pitch com was a product of, well, we can't trust these teams not to put cameras or somebody with binoculars in center field or whatever. Right. So let's just eliminate the signage behind home plate. Is there some other way that they're picking this up? So this is crazy. The Freudian slip. The Royals at home have an 1100 OPS. On the road, it's a 700 OPS. A 400-point difference between your OPS at home versus on the road? I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's very interesting.
Feels a little fishy to me.
I mean, they might miss their wives and kids.
They're just lonely on the road.
I don't want to play. You have to. You have to play. I don't want to play. Come on, Bobby Witt Jr., you got to play. I don't want to.
So somebody, of course, Bally Sports Kansas City put a post-game interview up here. It's great.
I haven't heard that song in so long.
And Renfro was asked, poor Judd, can't watch a Twins game. So Hunter Renfro was asked, what's changed? You guys are mashing the ball. And Renfro says, well, when you're home, you get to sleep in your own bed. You get in front of the fans. It's always great to be back here in front of the fans. Just the fans and that comfortable sleep number bed.
Yeah, they're in their own bed. Their families are around. They're happy. That's very interesting. I mean, that would be. I'd love to know. I mean, I'm sure there's a way, technology-wise.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of. Okay, so if you stole so if you could get someone to do that, and then how do you relay what's coming still? Because you can't go trash cans anymore. That's very 2000.
Well, I think, but 16. Like if you've hacked into PitchCom, that's the hardest thing. Like figuring out how to then signal something to a batter would be.
But I'm just saying you'd have to do that. All right. Well,
now people might say, wait a second, you hypocrites. Let's talk about the Twins' first World Series, where in the regular season, the Twins at home were 56-25.
Yeah, we changed the win.
And 29-52 on the road.
I told you, we were blowing those puppies out to the outfield when the Twins were at bat, and when they came up, we'd suck all the air back in.
I don't know. My theory on that is it was a relatively new ballpark still. You're literally playing in a Teflon dome on AstroTurf, and if you're playing there all the time, you get to see those fly balls. The depth perception is way different.
Well,
the speed at which a ball will fly off the turf and down the line or past an infielder.
The Cardinals also, in that World Series in particular, didn't have Pendleton at third or Clark at first. That played a bit of a role.
But this is like regular season discrepancy on steroids. Okay. This is way like I'm not talking about a 7-game series. I'm talking the whole season was worse than what the Royals
we were sucking the air in, and then we were blowing it out. I mean, come on.
What about 1986?
The Vikings were pumping noise in.
The home road discrepancy thing for the Twins in the 80s was like, even with bad Twins teams, they were way better at home because the stadium was
Billy Martin
hard
went
for
crazy.
teams to adjust to.
Went nuts. Hated the building.
Yeah.
Because his guys couldn't see the ball.
So keep an eye on those Royals, I guess, is the main story here.
So both of you guys are essentially saying that the Twins' closest competitors are cheating.
Well,
I'm not saying they're
the
cheating.
Guardians thing is a little different because, yes, like if opposing teams are coming in and they would then, much like going to Coors Field, would get the same benefit.
Yeah.
But if you play there all the time, do you know when and how to hit a fly ball to a certain part of the ballpark that the opposing team might not? I think what the Royals discrepancy is a bigger red flag than the Guardians like home run jump.
Fair enough.
Let's do an Immaculate Grid here to wrap the show after we say hello to our friends at Dennis Kirk. Dennis Kirk, 185,000 parts, apparel, and accessories for all you riders out there. Motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs, dirt bikes, all the top brands. Same-day shipping on orders before 8 p.m. Central, and free shipping on orders over $89. Find out more at DennisKirk.com. That's DennisKirk.com. Also, people might be coming in for the weekend, maybe a holiday weekend, or maybe it's a last-minute thing. There's a hotel near Target Field, Declan, that the audience should take note of for the rest of the season. Or maybe you're looking to book some October dates. I don't know.
Huh? You got Baltimore coming to town at the end of the year. I think that's the last home series. That could be a fun series at Target Field. The Birds. You guys gonna come up and fill up Target Field? I don't know. But if you do, stay at Element Hotel. Free Wi-Fi, a great fitness center, steps away, literally steps away from the ballpark. Also the North Loop, great area for restaurants, great areas for walking around in the summer. It's an awesome hotel. You can book your next stay at the Element Hotel by going to scorenorth.com/element for 15% off your booking. Go to scorenorth.com/element for 15% off your booking. Shout out to Element Hotel for sponsoring the Score North Twin Show.
Amen. Okay. Twins on the grid here a few days ago. And this is a fun one. There's one square in particular that Dex is going to pop up on the screen that we can have some fun with. But so we're looking for the most obscure answers possible to get a low rarity score. Like a single-digit rarity score would be pretty impressive. So we're looking for a Twin who was a Guardian, a Twin who was a Met, and a Twin who pitched in at least one game. And then we're looking for a Red Sox who was a Guardian, a Red Sox who was a Met, and a Red Sox who pitched in at least one game. Plus someone who caught at least one game that was a Guardian, someone who caught at least one game that was a Met, and then someone who caught at least one game and also pitched at least one game.
Ooh.
Drew Butera?
That's interesting.
Drew's a good one.
Drew's definitely a good one.
So Judd, we might be able to. We could probably aim for filling out this whole thing with former Twins if we were ambitious. I don't know. There's a couple squares that are a little tougher. But Judd, where do you want to start?
Let's start with the Twins. Twin stuff. Let's go across the board.
Pick a square, specific square.
Guardians/Indians and Twins, which I think Declan's on right now. Let's pick that one.
The Casey Blake Memorial Square.
Carl Pavano.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to
Pav.
it's a
You
great
got-
one.
I think
Old school
Jason
ones.
Tyner was a Guardian. We used him recently.
Paul Sorrento.
Ooh,
Is
that's
there
a
like
good
some
one.
90s or 80s guy that you guys have
Paul
in your
Sorrento.
Paul
in your back
Sorrento's
pocket?
good. Traded to Cleveland by the Twins on the same day that Kent Herbeck suffered, I think, a separated shoulder in an exhibition game against like the Cardinals. That was a bad trade because of that. Bad trade.
Should we do
Paul
it?
Sorrento's good. Yeah, Paul Sorrento on the 91 World Series team.
SOR.
Yep.
Paul Sorrento. Let's be under 1% here.
This is gonna be really
0.8.
0.8. Look at that big.
Yeah,
Chaw.
big neck. That
Yeah.
roided out neck, maybe. I
Oh
don't know.
boy, accusations. Paul, that was
The
not me.
accusations, man.
That was not me. That Declan Goff, who wasn't even born when you were with the Twins.
Twins Mets, any old school. I mean, we've used
David-
Alex Ochoa in this square before.
Go back to the trade. David West, Billy Bean.
Billy Bean.
that too top of mine though?
Billy Bean, man, that's a great one.
The Viola trade was David West, Billy Bean, Kevin Tapani, right? Because it was like 4 players. Achoya's good.
Well, we could use Viola for Mets, Red Sox if we wanted to.
That's another good one.
Addison Reed, that jerk that Judd loved, relief pitcher.
He was.
Was he also
He came from
a Red Sox?
He was a Red Sox.
Was he a Guardian too? Did he play for all 4 of these teams?
I don't
he
know
pitched
if
for
he
a
was
bunch
a
of
guard.
teams.
White Sox.
True
sure.
jerk.
Yeah.
Okay, Addison Reed. I mean, Billy Bean would be just for entertainment's sake. He played for both major league teams. He for sure played for the. He played for the Twins, right? Not just.
Yep.
Yeah, and he came up with the Mets, right?
Yeah. First round pick.
Yeah, but I mean, he played for. As I recall, he had played in the big leagues when the trade occurred. I just want to make sure I'm right on that.
You threw another random someone West, David.
Yeah.
David West.
Pitcher.
That's
He'd be
super
low.
obscure. Yeah.
Yeah. David West. Try that one. Passed away, sadly.
0.8.
0.8.
Yep. Yeah. In fact, he was the big get. He was the big get in that trade, the star player.
Okay. I bet
But
you
he
Billy
didn't
Bean's
develop.
pretty low. Well,
But he didn't.
okay,
develop.
and now we just literally need any Twin who pitched at all, period, which is a long, long list. So pretty much anyone that isn't Johan Santana is going to give us a decent score here.
Jeff Manship.
There you go.
Yes. Let's
That
do
good.
that. Let's do it.
Jeff
Manship. Notre Dame's finest.
0.03.
Great
Look
guy,
how
by
happy
the way.
he is. He's
Great
got a
guy.
big neck too.
Jeff Manship.
He's got a big neck, Dex. Are you accusing
He
him
does.
of untoward
He does.
things?
Do you want to
right.
go? So we got 3 Twins. For the Red Sox one, Red Sox Mets, we could go Rick Aguilera.
Aggie.
We could go
Viola.
Frank Viola.
Sweet music. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you could do a whole Twins one. This is good.
Trying to think of Bartolo Colon would work actually for both these squares.
Yeah.
For
He would work for
Guardians.
all of these squares,
Yeah, because he's Bartolo.
Oh yeah, he
freaking
would. Yeah,
Colon.
the pitch. Yeah,
except for catcher. I don't think.
yeah, except for catcher. Yep.
He's built like a catcher, old school.
So if we did, I'm right. I mean, Bartolo played for all 4 of these teams, right?
Yeah.
Came up with the
Yeah,
Guardians,
so you
and
could
then
do. Yep.
I would say the rarer one would be the Red Sox and Met. I mean, I feel like he was a more prom. I mean, he was prominent with the Guardians and the Mets, I guess. So
yeah, the Guardians is. I mean, he was one
Probably
of the
more.
best pitchers in recent franchise history. For
yeah,
them. Is Aguilera for Red Sox? I mean, he's most prominently a Twin.
Right.
Is that going to be? I mean, there's
that's
probably
a good-
other examples we can think of that are.
I think
But if
that's
we
a
wanted to
good
go former Twins,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's good.
okay.
I think it's fine.
Rick Aguilera.
0.5.
0.5. Let's go.
stuff.
Let's go.
Good stuff.
Nice. Still on the Twins cap there. All right, so Guardians, Red Sox.
Oh, Red Sox and Guard.
Minkiewicz was never a Guardian, right?
No.
Did he pitch a game? No. Orlando Cabrera
Orlando Cabrera. Great
played
one.
for both those teams.
You
He
wanna
came
fire
back
him?
when I covered the 2011 or 12 Twins. He came back with the Guardians, or vice versa. They
Yep.
they played him when he was a
Yeah.
Guardian that year. It was very emotional.
Let's do it.
Nope. Sorry.
Orlando Cabrera.
0.4.
0.4.
Oh, look at the Expos cap.
A former Twin who pitched for the Red Sox.
Craig Breslow.
Oh, there we go.
Craig Breslow.
I love the bull. I love these slappies out of the bullpen.
0.2. Perfect.
All right.
Okay, we need so we're looking for a Guardian catcher, Mike Redmond. We're looking for a Met catcher, and then we're looking for Drew Butera could just fit that bottom right one, pitcher catcher.
Yep.
You know, that's fired yet.
You want to throw it in there?
Yeah, fine. Well, let's do it.
Since we're going for, could
One.
do
1% for Drew.
The other one we could have done there, I guess, is Cesar Tovar because he played all 9 of the game. But
Should we fire Redmond for guard?
yeah,
Let's do it. Michael Redmond. 0.2.
0.2.
Wow. Okay.
And
so
now-
Mets catch.
So we can we can finish with with any random Mets catcher. So we've got the grid complete. Mackie Sasser. But if we were looking
we're
for
trying
a
to think of a
former
twin.
twin, we need a former twin who
Pat,
was
was Pat Borders.
A Met?
oh man, Pat Borders. I'm gonna write.
I remember him as a Blue Jay.
I mean, he played for
I don't.
boatload of teams.
I don't know if he played for the Mets or not. Did Henry Blanco play for the Mets ever?
Braves.
He played for so many teams.
He played for the Brewers. He played for the Twins. Played for the Braves. Yeah.
Just trying to think of these journeymen.
Like I didn't.
John Ryan Murphy was the
Greg
Yankees.
Myers.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got homered out Perkins here.
Rene Rivera.
Oh God.
Is
Is
that
there
right?
one from back in the Dizzy? Was there a catcher that?
Sal Butera was not a Met, was he?
No, he's a
I don't-
Blue Jay.
Blue
No.
Jay.
And
Yeah.
neither was Drew. Oh, we already
Butch-
used Drew.
Butch Weiniger was a Yankee. He was not a Met.
Was Mike Piazza ever a twin? Todd Hundley.
Who
He's
was
not a
like
twin.
their when the Mets were good?
Choo Choo Coleman.
When I played fantasy, like 06 to 08, those were some loaded Mets teams. Who was the catcher? Who was the catcher? With like the Jose Reyes and David Wrights of
Yeah.
the world. Oh, a catcher Met, a Met catcher.
But I'm trying to think of former Twins that played for the Mets who caught though, right? So we're trying to think of that.
Yeah, ideally. I mean, or we
Yeah.
just plug in.
But I mean, we could do it like
we plug in.
Choo Choo Coleman.
Whoever.
It's great, but he didn't.
But
play
he
for
wasn't
the
a
Twins.
twin.
Yeah.
What are,
exactly. That's
what's
I'm
that? What are
trying
we at right now? 0.4 at like 1, 2, 3. I mean, we're sitting on like a 4. We're at like 3.5%. Excuse me. Rarity score right now too. So we're
cooking.
80s.
I mean,
okay.
fudge. I'm trying to think of other.
Fudge.
Kurt Suzuki, no. The Chris Herman played for the Diamondbacks. I don't think he ever was a Met.
I don't know.
I
Was
can't think
of any
Wilson
former
Ramos?
Twins.
Was Wilson Ramos a Met?
That sounds right. Yeah,
I think
he
he was.
He caught Seinfeld's
Now
first pitch.
he
Oh!
might be he might be a little
Yes.
prominent, but
But we can take that, right?
we can take it, right?
Like, yeah, let's just
You're
take
right. He
it.
caught Seinfeld's first
He caught
pitch.
Seinfeld's first pitch. Yeah.
We talked about that like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wilson.
It'll be
I
under
feel like-
3, under 3%.
Yes, I think this will be our highest one. Oh,
1%.
it's
It's one. It's
It
one.
was 1%.
That's good. Good job, Declan.
Look at that.
Good job.
It's
Oh, and
hilarious.
he played for Cleveland. I don't remember him with Cleveland.
Look at that, man.
So that's Cleveland now?
Okay. I'm gonna
he's
Google
on
Rene
baseball.
Rivera real quick.
Oh yeah, that would have been a good one.
Funny. One of the photos that pops up, he is wearing a Mets hat. Okay, keep Rene Rivera in mind because he literally played for 9 different teams:
Nice.
Mets, Mariners, Padres, Twins, Rays, Braves, Nationals, Guardians,
Good
Cubs,
God.
and Angels.
He's a grid god.
He is.
Sorry, Edwin Jackson of catchers.
Nice job.
Good job, Declan.
All right,
Good memory
dudes.
on that.
5 rarity score here to round out the State of the Twins Score North Twin Show. If you haven't already, please click that like button and the subscribe button on the Score North Twin Show YouTube channel, which we just launched at the start of the season here. Keep an eye out for Declan's Extra Innings podcast. And then Tuesdays with Trevor Plouffe as a weekly guest. Just an awesome addition to this show. And we'll see if the Twins can keep their hot streak alive despite cheaters in the division trying to derail them. Hopefully baseball clamps down.